Hello, Jorge here, and in this video I want to share with you about the archetypes. What is the archetypes? One of the biggest pains that I see in society, in modern culture, and in the way that we're organizing is this painful thing that we should all fit inside of this box. We should all fit inside of that box, and if we don't fit in that box, we get discarded, we get put away. And it's this idea of monoculture, being like a monoculture, that everybody should line up here and get into the process line so that they can get processed, so that they can be packaged up, so that they can be served for consumption, used up, and then tossed away. And this is a big pain inside of our communities and inside of the way that we are thinking of community. And I see this in many different ways, even outside in more edgy cultures, like new age culture. And there is this like idea that that there is a way that we should all be. And it's like we should be more kind, or we should be more compassionate. We should all be loving beings, and we should all be resilient. And it creates again like this box of this perfect human being. We should have perfect bodies, we should all be vegetarian, like whatever that box is. It puts all of humanity and everything out and everything around them into this box, that it creates this like sort of like disconnection with your authentic being. It creates like a sort of shame, like an unspoken shame, or this segregation or exclusion, or this thing is bad, or this thing is good, this thing is bad. And so again, like it hints towards that monoculture thing, that we should all be this one thing. And what the archetypes are saying is that it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's a huge mistake that we're making in believing that everybody should be in a certain way, and that anybody has any idea of what somebody else should be like. For example, like you can see this tree back here. How can I tell that tree what he should be like, what he or she should be like? And a tree knows how to grow. A tree is doing what it's supposed to do. Another way that you can see this is with in an anthill, or even in a beehive. You have different types of bees, different types of ants, that they work together to create something. They work together as a species to create something, I would say to benefit each other, and also to support each other, to bring their gift to life. For example, in a beehive you have the queen, who is the one that like puts the larvae down, like gives it the eggs, she finds the place where they're gonna like build the hive. She produces the pheromones that bring everybody together into this frenzy of, oh, I want to be here. And she also gives birth to the future generations of bees. And I'm just giving an example. I'm not saying that humans are like that. I'm saying that archetypes, in the way that I want to bring it to you, is similar to this. And they have, inside of the hive, you have the guardians, which are the protectors of the hive. They stand at the edge of the hive, and they are worried of who comes in, who goes out, and what is a threat to the community, what is a threat to the hive, where is the help needed. And they are actually the ones in charge of addressing that threat and making sure that they keep the hive safe. They have also in this the bees that take care of the queen. I don't know what they're called, like the nurses or something like that, the maidens. I don't know what they're called. But they are these bees that take care of the larvae. They take the larvae from the queen and they put them in the stings. There is the bees that process the honey inside, or they process the pollen and they put them into these spaces. And there is also the bees that go out and reach out for the honey in the flowers. The point is that there is different, even though it's one species that is working towards one purpose and one goal, and they're all benefiting from it, they have different roles, very specific roles, and even like different bodies, very specific bodies. The body of a queen bee is very different than the body of a warrior, of a guardian. And so it's very similar in humanity, in humans. We work in very similar, and there is different ways of calling our different archetypes and our main archetypes, and there is breakdowns of our archetypes, of many different archetypes, and there is also more simple ones. And the one that I want to share with you right now is a very simple one, and it's about four different archetypes that they arrange around the community, around a game world or any system that we create. It has these four archetypes, and these four archetypes, they come together, and any system that we create as humans, it needs the capacity to hold space for those archetypes, and if it doesn't, it's not a sustainable system. And the thing is, with these roles, I'll share with you the roles. The roles are, we have the warrior, which is the guardian. Same like the bees, this is the protector, the guardian, the earth guardian is protecting earth and our home. We have the lover, which works mostly with his sadness, and is in charge of like this connection, weaving the village, keeping the people together, and also creating the intimacy, the depthness of the connection. There is the mage, which is which works mostly with fear, and he's also a healer and an evolutionary. He works towards the evolution and the transitions, transformation of one being from one shape to another. He works towards this like evolution and transformation and magic and alchemy. He's like an alchemist. And there is the fourth one, which is the king or the queen, which works mostly with the feeling of joy, and he's also a game builder. He's the one who is building the game and creating the platform and the space for the different players and the different archetypes to play in. So each one of these roles, they have different characteristics, and it's really amazing once you get to internalize this and see this inside of yourself. Locate who are you, what kind of archetype are you most predominant with. And most of the time we have a combination of 2 or 3 different archetypes, even 4 archetypes with different percentages. For example, there can be somebody that is like 80% warrior and 10% magician and 10% lover, and they have these 3 archetypes where they play, where there is a bigger role, and they get to play with that role. And the thing is that it's so different, that the way that those differences represent, that they feel, they're so different, that in a monoculture mentality or idea, it tends to block and create contradictions and a lot of confusion inside of how we behave, and it can create like this, like very contradictory. For example, the guardian is in charge of protecting the boundary, of saying like, this is our space, you're not allowed here, this is a boundary, and this is and is in charge of protecting that boundary. And the evolutionary, on the other hand, is kind of like in charge of evolving that boundary, or create like possibilities of expanding that boundary. So there can be sometimes a lot of contradictory actions between the two, between a guardian and an evolutionary, because the guardian is in charge of guarding, of protecting, and this guy is in charge of evolving and changing. So there can be sometimes encounters. So imagine if you, inside of yourself, if you have these two archetypes working inside of yourself, like how contradictory that will be. So in coming into understanding and getting an idea of how these archetypes work and how they are within you, you can get an idea of the conflicts that you're facing in your life, and also the conflicts that you're facing with other people in the outside world, in your community. And if you're creating a project, or if you're creating a game world or a business or an idea, you're creating this space for people to collaborate, you must keep in mind those 4 different archetypes, so that you can create the space for them to collaborate and to create enough space for each one of them to be in their role. If you start cutting off and imposing and pushing away some of these archetypes and ways of beings, then your game world, your system that you're creating is gonna start like getting into unsustainable. You're gonna start like having to compensate a lot for the lacking of that specific archetype that is being rejected. So this can give you some really awesome ideas and possibilities for how to make your idea and your project and your game world that you're creating flow in a way that you might not even be expecting. And this is a possibility also for working towards more inclusion, paying attention to how you are pushing away some people because they don't really agree, or they don't really align with your values, and understand that each person, each archetype is holding a space for a different set of values. So I hope this is helpful. This is the 4 archetypes: the warrior, the lover, the wizard, and the king or queen. And this was Jorge Pedret, and if you have any questions about this, there is some amazing resources that you can tap into out there to find out what is your archetype and what archetype you work with the most, and this is an awesome resource for you. So just ask me about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.